Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode. I am very excited to be doing this. This is going to be a video. We're going to be looking at the astrological transits for the month of May, which is probably going to be the best month so far of 2024. So I want you guys to just really enjoy this month as much as you can because literally we have been going through hell, basically, over the last month because we've had the eclipses, we've had this Mercury retrograde happening. There's been so many changes happening for us. It's just been very chaotic, I'm sure, in all of our lives. I know in my lives it's been very hectic. But I'm really excited for the month of May, and I really hope you guys are too. If you follow any other astrologers, they have probably told you the same thing, that May is probably one of the best months of the whole year. So this is a very exciting month, guys. So what we're gonna do in this video is we're gonna be going through day by day, looking at the chart here, going through all aspects, all important aspects that will happen during the month of May 2024, and we're just gonna talk about all the important stuff and all that stuff. We're gonna talk about the lunations this month, the new moon in Taurus, the full moon in Sagittarius. There's a lot to talk about. Mercury's ending its post-shadow retrograde at this point in the middle of the month, which is really exciting. We have two planets that are going to be in its home signs, which is really going to make things work a lot easier. And just all these planets moving into Taurus, it's going to feel very calm, very just soothing. Just we'll be able to just like feel this warmth, this groundingness, this all the luxurious kind of vibes that Taurus kind of presents itself as we go through this month. Let's see. We have like 3 planets changing signs this month. So it's basically the planets moving from Taurus to Gemini, basically. So there's 3 planets moving from Taurus to Gemini this month. That'll be kind of towards the end of the month. But before we get there, we are just going to be enjoying this Taurus vibe and stuff like that. And then towards the end of the video, which I will end up putting timestamps just so you don't have to watch the whole video, because this might be a very long video, because it's the monthly video, and it's what I've been doing for the past, I don't know, a few months now, actually. And this is actually episode 10. So we finally made it to, or I should say I finally made it to double digits on my talk show. So this is episode 10 for that. Pretty exciting milestone. I know I have many other more episodes that I will create, but I'm pretty excited that I finally reached up to 10 episodes. Since I've been doing this over the past year, it's been really exciting. I think I've been enjoying doing all this, and I can't wait to just continue to do this and share this content with you guys, because it's just been really fun. And I know I'm kind of like, this is a huge intro, but I just kind of wanted to just say all that. And before we actually jump into this, I want to talk about the merch real quick. I will be having a good handful of promotions that I'm be promoting, I should say, or sales I will be promoting in the month of May. If you do follow me on social media, or if you're a Patreon, you will get these little notifications of when these sales are going to be happening. But yeah, I'm wearing the Uranus and Taurus merch. This hat. These hats are so cool. I got the Codifers Astrology brand name shirt on. I actually customized this one. I put like a little smaller kind of design on the side, and then I have this on the back of my shirt, which was really cool. So you can do a lot of cool things on the website. It's really exciting. I've been really enjoying it. Other people have been really enjoying it too, and it makes me happy. It makes me excited that I have created something where just anybody can enjoy, and they have been enjoying it. Not only doing this video content online, but just like exploring other things that I've been doing online, which is like the merch, and stuff like that. So there's going to be a lot of merch sales going on this month. I believe there's like a 20% off sale starting on the 2nd through like the 7th or whatever. There's going to be like a 15% off sale in like the middle of the month, a free standard shipping sale towards the end of the month, and I believe it's on the 27th, which is Memorial Day. I'll be having a 25% off sale, so that's going to be a really exciting promotion in time that I will be promoting. So just little things, I'm just kind of like heads up of what's coming this month during probably the best month of the year. Okay, I think that's a good introduction. Let's just kind of jump into this, excuse me, and get into the astrology of May. Okay, so what's going on in May? Let's just enjoy this month, guys. Like, let's just enjoy this month. Like, for the most part, there's maybe like maybe two really challenging aspects for the month of May. Everything else is either in a conjunction or they're forming a sextile, which is like amazing. You know what I mean? It's good aspects, it's harmonious aspects. There's so many good positive transits happening in this month, and I think that's what's really exciting about this month, because it's like after we've been through this, eclipse season, Mercury retrograde and stuff like that. There's been a lot of just things just not moving the way that we want to. There's been a lot of delays, a lot of setbacks and stuff like that, but we can finally move forward full steam ahead as we go through this month. So the first thing that happens is Venus is going to be forming this square to Pluto over here. So Venus just entered the sign of Taurus on April 29th, I believe. So she'll be in Taurus for most of the month of May. It really covers like the whole month of May. Like I said, Venus will enter Gemini and the Sun will enter Gemini towards the end of the month. And then Jupiter will enter Gemini, which we will get to, and I'm kind of excited about that transit too. But Venus and Taurus, enjoy this. Venus is home in her home sign. She's, Venus is the planet of love, beauty, relationships, like artistic stuff, aesthetics, enjoyment, pleasures, just all the lovey-dovey kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Values, just like stuff like that. And being in the sign of Taurus, it's really like just comfortable placement that we will be able to enjoy. But having Venus come into the square with Pluto in Aquarius, there's probably going to be a little bit of tension when it comes to relationships. There's going to be power struggles and stuff like that, so you want to maybe watch out for like manipulation from other people, controlling stuff, all that types of stuff. So yeah, we're going to probably want to enjoy all this like comforting Venus and Taurus stuff, but something in the deep background, like the background of this energy, there's going to be a lot of like tension or something like that when it comes to what we enjoy, what we are trying to stay comfortable and ground ourselves in. Pluto is in the sign of the people. You could say social media if you wanted like that too. So you can have a little bit of I don't know. This can play out in so many different ways. I mean, Pluto is basically like this outside, deep, very slow moving planet. So it might not even affect all of us at the time. Pluto will be stationing retrograde on the 2nd. So we'll go to basically like the 3rd or whatever, where it shows the RX. So Pluto stationing retrograde. This is probably one of the biggest highlights of the whole month of May, because Pluto, this is as far as Pluto's going to get into the sign of Aquarius, 2 degrees, because Pluto will station retrograde, and then he will slowly start to move back into the sign of Capricorn, which will be like later this year in like September through like November, that little 2-month period or whatever, a month and a half you want to call it. So yeah. But this is a big deal. So, I mean, yes, Pluto is, like I said, an outer planet. It's a very slow-moving planet. Maybe you probably won't affect, like, anything will be felt on this day because Pluto has been slowing down for the last month or so. It's a very slow-moving planet. It moves about maybe 3 or 4 degrees or even a couple degrees a year, just going back and forth and stuff like that. So, but yeah, Pluto. This is as far as Pluto's going to get into the sign of Aquarius. This is the second time that we've had Pluto ingress into the sign of Aquarius. But Pluto will be finishing its time in the sign of Capricorn later this year, I should say, not month. And yeah, because Pluto's been in the sign of Capricorn since 2008. There's been a lot of like corruption when it comes to governments and corporations and stuff like that we've seen since over the last 15, 16 years, basically. But as we get to November, I know we're talking about May, but this is important. This is the whole like timeline of Pluto's like movement and transits and stuff like that. So Pluto will end up moving fully back into the sign of Aquarius by like the end of November, the middle towards the end of November or whatever. It'll leave the sign of Capricorn for good and be in the sign of Aquarius for the next 20 years. Pluto will end up leaving the sign of Aquarius in like 2044, 2045, that time frame, whatever. So we have a long time for Pluto being in the sign of Aquarius, guys. And, having Pluto in the sign of Aquarius since, about a year ago, there's been like a lot of like AI stuff basically coming to the public. It's been getting more popular over this past year since Pluto's been in the sign of Aquarius. Aquarius also rules like technology, society, just like stuff like that. And recently, if you've seen in the media or the news or whatever, that they've been trying to get rid of this basically TikTok, this social media or whatever. And that's been in the up in the air, like, oh, they're banning it and stuff like that. But it's kind of, there's some deep uncovering things that we will eventually see more of once Pluto gets back into the sign of Aquarius. But it's just like little previews of what Pluto is like trying to do. And Pluto's job is to like uncover like these deep things that are hidden, are not viewed to the public and stuff like that. And they've been like basically saying there's been like a lot of spying and stuff like that, hidden dark themes to do with like technology and stuff like that. I mean, we're gonna continue seeing this stuff. It's not all gonna be like good things happening when Pluto's in the sign of Aquarius. Like, I mean, since Pluto's been in the sign of Capricorn, we've seen like the governments, like in the a lot of stuff coming out from the governments and stuff like that. Like Pluto's been bringing bringing stuff to the surface when it comes to like corporations and governments and how things are controlled and stuff like that, structures and stuff like that. We've seen it all. We've seen like what Pluto can do, and now Pluto is basically starting a new cycle, entering a new part of our charts or whatever area of life when it comes to themes of Aquarius, which is like technology and stuff like that, society, people, the future, like stuff like that. We're gonna have a lot of things that we will end up seeing over the next 20 years when Pluto transits his sign of Aquarius. So this is just like Pluto stationing retrograde in the sign of Aquarius isn't really going to be a big deal, honestly, because he did it last year. He's going to do it this year. He's going to do it the following year, and then continuing over the next couple decades. So Pluto stationing retrograde, it's just one day, but I mean, Pluto's in the background right now. Pluto's not really in our face, like kind of just like, boom, this is what Pluto in Aquarius is going to be like. No, we're going to slowly start to understand more and more of what Pluto can do and what Pluto is trying to transform, because that's what Pluto does, transform, death, rebirth, change this, blah, 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 over the next 20 years, So it's just a little mark, or what's like a highlight or whatever you want to call it. Okay, we got to move on. I know that's a lot to talk about. So basically, Mars is coming up to a sextile to Pluto, which is, a really good aspect. One of the nicer aspects that we have. One of the first positive aspects, I should say. Mars just entered Aries on April 30th. Will be there for most of the. It's covering the whole of May. Mars will end up leaving the sign of Aries in the beginning of June, but having Mars come into a sextile to Pluto, this is really going to just encourage and really like, what's the word? Just like boost our confidence in a way. You know, Mars and Pluto have similar energies. Mars is very, deep, kind of like deep, kind of, straight to the point. It's very, I guess explosive, you could say, or whatever. It's a lot. It's a lot about energy and power and stuff like that. So this is gonna really like boost our confidence. Use this to like do something. Like you use this energy and run with it, even if it's just a little gesture, because that's what a sextile is. It's not going to be the biggest thing in the world. Like, oh my God, Mars sextile Pluto, you're going to be doing this, this, and that. No, it's just like, here's a little like nice aspect, and this is what you can do with it. And Mars is in Aries. It's in very, very bold, confident Aries. You know what I mean? That's Mars is home. Mars is comfortable doing things that it likes to do. Coming into a connection with Pluto and Aquarius, this is going to just boost the confidence up of like what you can be a part of. Like maybe you're kind of trying to be a part of a certain group or whatever, working with technology, just something like that. It's a little gesture, but very exciting transit. Because I mean, even though like Venus is coming in that square to Pluto, Mars will kind of like ease it up, ease up the tension or challenges that you may be dealing with. Okay, so the next big thing happening will be the Sun making a sextile to Saturn, which happens basically during the new moon in Taurus, around the 6th, 7th, 8th, around that time. Mercury's coming into a conjunction with Chiron. If you watched my Taurus season video that I just made, I think about a week ago or whatever, I basically kind of talked about like half of this month of like basically what's going on during Taurus season. And, this new moon, will kind of like, there's a lot to talk about. So the new moon in Taurus is going to be at 18 degrees of Taurus. Having the sun and the moon basically form this sextile to Saturn. This is going to be a very fertile time. It's a new moon. It's a time to set new intentions. It's a time to really start planning something, planting those seeds or whatever. It's in the sign of Taurus. Can be a very grounded, fertile type of vibe, and any intentions that you will create from this transit. Look at all these planets in Taurus, though, too. 5 planets in Taurus. Very nice, very easing and just soothing and just calmness and stuff like that. Having a sextile to Saturn over here in Pisces, Saturn in Pisces, since Saturn's been in Pisces for the last year or so, Saturn is about authority figures, whatever you could say. Saturn is about, long-term goals. Saturn is about discipline, maturation. Is that the right word? Maturation, whatever. Having Saturn in Pisces, though, I mean, Saturn's been kind of like putting like these blocks, these like internal blocks or whatever that we need to like really discipline ourselves when it comes to like, using faith or like following faith, I should say. Because, Pisces is this boundless, expansive type of energy. It's very just like outer worldly kind of type of energy. And Saturn here, it's been, creating blocks. It's been wanting us to work a little harder and become more disciplined in this area of life when it comes to like, not knowing the future, not knowing what's ahead of us. It's okay to like take one step at a time and then one step forward, 3 steps back or something like that when it comes to how we are expanding. The Pisces realm is really about our internal world. Like it's a Jupiter ruled sign. So I mean, if you look at the other Jupiter ruled sign, which is Sagittarius, Sagittarius is mainly about that outwardly, that like that external side of life. It's very out there. It's very, traveling and stuff like that. Like what's on the other side. The grass is always greener, something like that. Pisces is really about that internal world. That what do we feel inside? How can we expand this inner world? And like having this new moon connect with Saturn is really like, it's just very fertile. It's very fertile. Something will help us with any long-term goals that we set for ourselves from this point on. It's really going to help us like encourage this little, any goals that we plan, any goals or anything that we set for our long-term goals. This new moon in Taurus looks very nice, and having Saturn, in this positive angle to this new moon is really going to help us, just with anything that I just basically said. It looks good. It really looks good. Coming back to Mercury and Chiron, Mercury's been kind of going over the North Node in Chiron this past month or so. You might have to deal with conversations that really you need to address. Chiron is the wounded healer. It could be about pains, wounds, stuff that's very uncomfortable, but needs to be basically faced. So that's going to be a little, another layer, I should say, on top of like this new moon and, sextiling Saturn and stuff like that, blah, blah, blah. Uranus is basically in the mix of it, and that's basically the next transit. Having Uranus, the sun come into a conjunction with Uranus. Venus is basically forming that sextile to Saturn as well. It's just nice, you know what I mean? It's just nice. What more could you want? I mean, having all these planets come into the conjunction with Uranus, unexpected things, liberation, freedom, just like going outside your comfort zone, doing things that are not normally what you normally would do. Uranus is that spark of light. It's that jolt. It's that, hey, let's try this out, let's kind of break out of this norm or the like breaking out of old cycles or patterns that you normally would do. Uranus is basically still conjunct Jupiter. Excuse me. And that's been a very expansive kind of energy. Jupiter is about, expansion, it's about philosophies, it's about, the higher mind and stuff like that. We are going to see a lot of stuff, a lot of futuristic, a lot of just unpredictable stuff, new things, new life, new cycles coming out from this transit. It's still kind of covering the whole month of May until Jupiter leaves Taurus and enters Gemini. So, still very exciting month for this stuff. So, the next big thing is Mercury is coming out of its shadow at this point. So, we are finally done with that Mercury retrograde, cycle. Mercury is finally at this 27 degrees where it's stationed retrograde on April 1st. So we are finally complete from all that. All the delays, all the plans not working right, everything like the miscommunication, glitches with technology and stuff like that. We can finally move on from all that stuff. So that's a very exciting time because a couple days later, Mercury joins the Taurus party, and we have Mercury there. Mercury in Aries has been very, very loud. I mean, let me just go back for a second. I mean, we have Mercury and Mars in the sign of Aries. So, I mean, the first 14 days of the month, we have Mercury and Mars in the sign of Aries. So that can be very, like, frustrating, can be very confrontational. So you want to, like, kind of watch out for that. But it could also be good for, just, I guess starting something new. Jumping to something that's new and exciting. But basically when having Mercury in the sign of Aries, it's been very, very bold, very impulsive in how we've been communicating and stuff like that. But having Mercury enter the sign of Taurus, we can be a lot more calmer. We can have more patience in our communication and how we are expressing any ideas or thoughts or whatever that we have. Mercury comes into a square to Pluto with Pluto in Aquarius, and this is the only other challenging aspect of the month. It's just Venus squaring Pluto, and then Mercury coming into a square with Pluto. Everything else is nice. So if we can get past these two challenging, so to say, it's really fast paced. They're like Mercury and Venus are very fast moving planets, so it's not going to last that long. It's going to be like that, and then it's all gone. So yeah, you might have something that will affect you, like maybe if you have any placements around these degrees in the fixed signs. Yeah, you'll be challenged by this more than a lot of people, but they're fast. You know, it'll come and go. But having Mercury come into the sign of Taurus, squaring Pluto and Aquarius, Mercury is our, the way we communicate, the way we express our thoughts. It's going to be in Taurus. It's going to be more calmer, very, very patient and stuff like that. But then we're going to have to deal with some tension, some power struggles when it comes to society, people, technology, stuff like that, hidden manipulation and stuff like that. That's what I see, even with Venus squaring Pluto, manipulation, watch out for that. Stay in your ground. Do the Taurus thing and be grounded and be like, you know what, I'm not going to let this affect me. Even if it does, you have to kind of center yourself. Do the Taurus thing and be like, you know what, I'm going to be stubborn and not fall for this stuff. That's kind of like the best advice, I would say. Okay, so the next big thing is the sun's coming into a conjunction with Jupiter. That is towards the 16th, 18th, 17th, 18th, and 19th, around that time. And the sun and Jupiter will be kind of forming this sextile to Neptune as well. So the sun coming up to, Jupiter, it's a very hopeful, optimistic, very warm-hearted kind of energy. Jupiter is basically ending its time, ending its year that it's been in the sign of Taurus since about a year ago. So, there's been a lot of expansiveness in this area of life for us. There's been a lot of just different, philosophies and different kinds of different perspectives, basically. There's been probably a lot more, protectiveness in this area of life for you. Maybe you've gained a lot more materialistic items, or you've received more values or finances. Any of these themes, since Jupiter has been in the sign of Taurus, has been very expansive for you and very hopeful and very beneficial, basically. And wherever Jupiter ends up, you will be gaining that hope, that benefits, that optimistic kind of vibe and stuff like that, wherever Jupiter is at in your chart. But yeah, very exciting thing. But having these guys sextile Neptune, this is just going to increase these dreams, these fantasies, these ideals and stuff like that. It's just going to be a very fertile month because all these planets in Taurus will be sextiling these two in Pisces, Earth and water. It's a very fertile time, guys. All right, so Mars is coming up to a conjunction with the North Node. That is going to be very, ramping up to 0-100 real quick. So, I mean, Mars is already in its domicile home sign, doing things that Mars likes to do. But this could go either way. You could either be very excited to go into a new direction, new path. You're like, ooh, I need to do this. I'm heading there. That's my short-term goal or whatever that I want to achieve real quick. The North Node will be enhancing this martial type of energy. It's going to be very just you can even end up having becoming more confrontational during this time, because Mars, yes, Mars is a very confrontational planet. Having in the sign of Aries, it's just going to be very, either you're going to have a lot of energy to do things, or you're going to have a lot of confrontations with other people. Mars can separate. It can strike you where it hurts. But yeah, the North Node is gonna just we're gonna be on some shit at this time. You know what I mean? This is kind of basically having an energy drink and then also having steroids or something. We're just gonna be all over the place. We're gonna just be having all this energy to do this, that, blah, 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 blah. We're all gonna be all over the place. So just be careful when Mars gets near the North Node and stuff like that. It's going to be exciting either way, but, you want to watch out for confrontations and stuff like that. So the next thing I basically talked about was the sun coming into a sextile to Neptune. I mean, Jupiter is basically coming up to that sextile as well. So, all right, so we're gonna get into Gemini season. So this I didn't talk about in the last video, my Taurus season video, because it was only talk about Taurus season. But this month, now we're going into the whole month. We're getting into Gemini season now. So the Sun will enter Gemini on May 20th. That's gonna change the vibe, change the what we are basically what we've been doing. We've been in this grounding type of Taurus vibe and stuff like that. As we get towards the end of the month, when the planets start to get into Gemini, that's when things are going to be like very like more flexible. More the mutable energy is going to start to like increase at that time. We're going to be able to do it's going to feel lighter basically from this grounded energy to this air sign. Like we're in flight mode basically. We're going to be just like off the chains. Things are just going to be bouncing all over the place basically. Gemini energy is a very exciting, I guess you could say exciting. I think it's exciting. It's an air sign. It's a very adaptable sign. It's a very kind of friendly, breezy type of vibe. There's going to be a lot of like stimulation, inconsistency. Taurus is about consistency. Gemini is about inconsistency. So maybe like during like the first half of the month, you're very you're very fixed into the way you're doing things, and you don't want any change happening. You're finding a consistent thing to like repeat basically. That's what fixed signs do. Once the mutable energy comes in, it's very like all over the place. It's like we're gonna change things up a bit. We're not gonna be so fixed into our ways into doing things. We're gonna try multiple things, and that's another key word for Gemini because it rules the twins, which is basically double-sided or double, whatever. It's multiple things. So Gemini is also very intellectual and stuff like that. So let's just kind of like, move on and just that we got the gist of Gemini. The Sun will be forming a trine to Pluto, which is very exciting, very powerful too. Very just like, the Sun's in Gemini, Pluto's in Aquarius, air sign. It's just like very like friendly, very breezy, very intellectual, very connectiveness, basically. It's very exciting. This will really boost up your confidence, I would say. This is going to increase the power of how we connect with other people, how we just interact socially, basically. So that's a very exciting transit. So the next thing basically is Venus and Jupiter are coming together. Very exciting, having the two benefics come together in the sign of Taurus. Like, what? What more could you ask for? Like, this is already like nice and warm-hearted and comfortable and just lovely energy. It's very luxurious. Having the lesser benefic Venus, the greater benefic Jupiter come together, mixing together in the sign of Taurus, forming this conjunction, forming this sextile to Neptune over here. Oh my gosh. Like, this is just amazing. This just feels good. Like, you can't go wrong with this energy. Like, there's nothing, like, horrible. I mean, you could end up, indulging a little bit too much, which could be on the negative side of this transit. But for the most part, it's easy going. It's nice. It's very just like, it's warm-hearted. Like it's like eating like all this comfort food while like relaxing on a beach, your dream home or stuff like that. Just, that's kind of like the vibe of it. It's so nice. And then we're basically coming up to the next big thing is this full moon. It's Sagittarius. So this is actually, it's at 2 degrees of Sag. So it's about right here. It's almost like 3 degrees. It's like almost 3 degrees, but 2 degrees of Sag, full moon in Sagittarius, ruled by Jupiter in Taurus, who is conjunct the ruler Venus. This looks nice. It does look really nice. I mean, they're both connecting to the planet Pluto over here, which is just I can't emphasize any more. Like, it's just nice. As like, especially as we get to like the end of the the month. I don't know. There's just so many good things about this month. It's just, you can talk about it forever. But yeah, full moon. Full moon completion, coming to full fruition. It's in the sign of Sagittarius. It's about, expansiveness. It's a fire sign. It's ruled by Jupiter. It's very outgoing, optimistic, very just like outdoors. Like, I know the Sagittarius loves the outdoors and loves to travel and stuff like that. But so does Gemini. It's, you could be traveling a lot during this point. It's a very inspirational kind of vibe. Idealistic spirituality, stuff like that. It's going to be nice, though. I really like it. I'm excited for it. And then basically it's actually the same day that Venus enters the sign of Gemini. And then following that, let's just go here. Jupiter will enter the sign of Gemini. So this is kind of a lot to talk about here. So let's start with Venus, though. Venus is, leaving her home sign of Taurus. Things have been so nice and warm-hearted and stuff like that. Very comfortable, enjoying everything. As Venus switches into the sign of Gemini, things get a little bit more lighter, as following by Jupiter entering the sign of Gemini. All this air sign starts to come up. And all these guys are forming a trine to Pluto over here. It's just nice. This is going to really boost up our confidence and just increase this connectiveness, especially because Venus is here. Venus in Gemini loves to connect. It values that connection. It values that intellectual, sociable kind of vibe that, comes with the Gemini. Yes, Venus is about love, pleasures, enjoyment, and stuff like that. And so that's basically how Venus and Gemini is going to basically create. And I mean, Venus is combust right now. Venus is about to, conjoin the Sun. They will make this conjunction in June. But she's moving fast. She is switching from evening star. No. She's switching from morning star to evening star. So, and that's a huge vibe shift as it is. So, yeah, Venus is coming into a conjunction. So she's really combust. Maybe it's not going to be, we're not going to have this full Venus vibe because Venus is, basically burnt up at this point. Whenever a planet comes up to, the sun, they're basically burnt out, they're combust, their energy's a little lower because it's not really, not by the sun or whatever. If any, all these other planets are working normally, basically. But whenever a planet comes up near the sun, it gets purified, it gets burnt up and stuff like that, which isn't a bad thing, having Jupiter come to the sign of Gemini. So Jupiter just lasted a whole year in the sign of Taurus. Now Jupiter is going to start a new cycle, spending a whole year in the sign of Gemini. So Jupiter will enter the sign of Gemini on May 25th, and he won't leave the sign of Gemini until June 9th, 2025. So we have over a year of Jupiter in the sign of Gemini. Jupiter, it's about expansiveness, philosophies, the higher mind, long-distance travel, stuff like that. Yes, Jupiter is entering its detriment, or a sign of detriment, you could say. It doesn't do as well here, but Jupiter is still going to be Jupiter. And I would say Jupiter and Gemini, Gemini's a mercurial. Is that the right thing? Mercurial. It's a Mercury-ruled sign. So Mercury in Gemini or Mercury, whatever you want to call it, are all about the fast-paced details, little things. And Jupiter is all about the opposite of that, which is expansiveness, a higher mind, long-distance travel, and stuff like that. Because it's the opposite of Sagittarius and Gemini. They're opposite each other. And the Mercury-ruled signs, which is Gemini and Virgo, are opposite the Jupiter-ruled signs, which is Pisces and Sagittarius. Mercury is all about the rational side of our, mind, how we use it, and Jupiter is all about the what's the word? Philosophical or type of vibes or something like that. It's the idealistic kind of vibes. So it's Mercury's rational details and stuff like that. Jupiter's about idealistic, abundance and stuff like that. I think that's the word that I was looking for, abundance. So having Jupiter into the sign of Gemini, yes, this is going to expand a lot more social interactions, social activities, a lot of connectiveness at this time. It's gonna basically be, we're gonna have to show our gratitude when it comes to just maybe having a little bit of stuff instead of having all this big stuff. This is kind of like actually being okay with maybe having a little bit of whatever. That's kind of what I was saying. Basically having a little bit of stuff instead of having like all this stuff that we really want. Because Jupiter is in the opposite sign of what it rules, of Gemini. I hope that makes sense. But yeah, Jupiter's going to be here for a whole year. So we're going to, be able to expand in this area of life when it comes to Jupiter ruled things and stuff like that. So we'll talk more about that when we get to each sign. And we're basically at the end of the month anyway. So, the next really big thing is Mercury's coming into a sextile to Saturn. Very interesting, communication is kind of running a little, is going to be good when it comes to planning long-term goals and stuff like that. This could be a good time to work with authority figures, kind of, work with what they're providing with us. And then Mars is coming into a conjunction with Chiron. We might have to deal with uncomfortable things. We might have to maybe cut out some old wounds, old patterns that basically may have us like feeling kind of like just old wounds and stuff like that. Not the biggest transit though. We'll get past this. And then Mercury is coming into a conjunction with Uranus, which is a very, very exciting transit, I think. Mercury-Uranus combinations, especially when they make that conjunction, that is like hitting gold, striking gold, eureka moments, basically. It's a very exciting, very electrifying kind of vibe and stuff like that. So I like that. That's the month of May, guys. It's a very exciting month. I'm super excited about this. Let's just start jumping into the signs so we can get that over with. So let me kind of go to, okay. We're going to start with Aries. Just kind of get everything back into Taurus for a minute. Okay. So, Aries. All of this stuff is happening, basically building up into your second house. So stuff to do with finances, possessions, support, what's supporting you, your work ethic, savings and stuff like that. All of this is like probably increasing for you, Aries. This is going to be a very exciting time for you, Aries. If you're trying to work hard just to get that extra money, this would be the perfect month, perfect time to do all this stuff. You're going to probably increase your values, your possessions, your finances. You're going to probably get a lot of stuff happening when it comes to these things. Let's see. So we're going to only just talk about a few things. Pluto will be stationing retrograde in your 11th house. That's just going to be, a background kind of happening in the area of life where it involves, communities, groups, friends, stuff like that. So this like new attitude towards like what you're benefiting from your career and stuff like that, working with all these people, is just going to get a little enhanced at this time. There's going to be maybe a little bit of a power struggle or any, don't give into the fear basically of what these people are basically providing for you. Pluto will end up going back into Capricorn later on this year in your 10th house, so you'll be able to like complete whatever's been happening in the 10th house for you, Aries, so not bad. Okay, then you're having a new moon. I'm just going to talk about it. I'm not going to do the thing. We'll switch into Gemini, but you'll have a new moon at 18 degrees in the sign of your second house of Taurus. This is just going to have you, setting new intentions when it comes to, Taurus themes, when it comes to your finances and stuff like that. Stuff like that. Yeah, that's going to be a very exciting thing to, set for yourself for the future. Any long-term, kind of steadfastness, stuff like that. Very patient, methodical stuff like that. Your finances are probably going to be increasing this month. Okay. And then Mercury will end up entering your second house, leaving this first house of yours since it's been in since in like March or whatever. But then it'll enter Taurus, so you're going to be thinking about money, possessions, how to receive all this. You might be very this could be a good time to deal with exchangings or just dealings in general. You might have better opportunities to receive and get those, like, especially if it's like in sales or something. I feel like that would be a really good time to like really like sell people just so you can earn more possessions or finances. Very exciting. Then everything starts to go into your third house of Gemini. Let's just kind of get everything there. Okay, so everything's moving into your third house. You're going to be very, like, probably very more sociable, honestly. You might be traveling a lot more, maybe in your immediate environment, doing things like connecting with people in your environment, stuff like that. It's going to be very expansive in this part. Jupiter just entered your third house, so you're going to have Jupiter in this area for a whole year. A lot of things are going to be increasing. Communication, short trips, interests, like mental stuff, mental connections, transportation, maybe something to do with a car or something. Maybe you're going to get a new car or something. I don't know. Interactions, relatives, stuff like that, siblings, all this stuff is going to be expanding at this time. You're going to be valuing it. Having Venus here, it's going to be very enjoyable and stuff like that. So this is a very exciting month. You'll end up having the full moon Sagittarius happening in your ninth house, which is just going to basically have any completions and stuff like that to do with like Sagittarius themes, which is in your ninth house for your Aries. Foreign travel, foreign cultures, long distance traveling, religion, philosophies, principles, legal matters, stuff like that. It's a very expansive time. Maybe you might be traveling at that time towards the end of the month. So that's kind of how I see the month rolling for you, Aries. Very exciting month for you. All right, so we are going to go to Taurus. All right, so let's move everything back into your first house, Taurus. All right, so Taurus risings. This is your first house. Everything's still in your first house for the month, the whole month. Very very exciting month for you guys. Very highlighting your time at this point, especially if you have a birthday coming up in this month of May. Happy birthday! This is a huge time to have a birthday. Having all these planets like either conjunct your sun, moon, ascendant, any other planets in the sign of Taurus. Very exciting, beneficial time for you guys. First house, is about who you are, how you present yourself to other people, your appearance, your character, starting new things. Like it's a whole new beginning cycle and stuff like that. Very exciting. Your approach to life will probably change at this point. You'll be probably, like I said, if you're celebrating a birthday, these wishes you'll be like receiving all these blessings and wishes that you've wanted, stuff like that. So very exciting. Pluto will station retrograde in your 10th house of Aquarius. 10th house is about career, public image, what you do in the world, reputations, the actions you take. This is just kind of like in the background, because Pluto will end up moving back into the sign of Capricorn, your 9th house, later on this year. But just things to do with like career and authority, stuff like that, will be maybe increasing a little bit. So maybe dealing with some power struggles with that, with authority figures or just people in the public. Not the biggest transit though. You'll be able to like transform and understand what's been changing in this area of life for you. Maybe starting a new career, starting a new job, starting something that will make the public or something view you as. Very exciting. You'll have a new moon happening in your first house of Taurus. This is just going to set new intentions of how you can present yourself, how your approach to life will end up basically unfolding over the time being. New beginnings, new attitude, old cycles leaving, new cycles beginning, stuff like that. Very exciting. Mercury will end up entering your first house by the 15th. We've had Mercury in your 12th house of Aries doing a retrograde, stuff like that. It's leaving its shadow at this point, entering your first house. You'll be able to, I feel like, express yourself a little bit more. I feel like having Mercury in your 12th house has been very challenging, very, subconscious, not really understanding what's out there, what's in there. You're, kind of maybe, Mercury in Aries is very impulsive, bold, stuff like that. maybe doing a lot more spiritual stuff that you have been maybe dealing with. But then you can kind of leave all this like 12th house energy and start to kind of like open up, see, like I said, it's going to be a lot easier to express yourself, maybe a lot more calmer too as well. And then basically everything moves into your second house. So that is going to be a very exciting thing because your second house is about money, possessions, priorities, your savings, what's supporting you, stuff like that. Jupiter just entered this sign of Gemini, so you're going to be probably increasing. Your finances will be expanding. Things that are supporting you will probably be very beneficial over the next year for you, Taurus. Very exciting. Yeah, stuff to do with like values, possessions, your wealth, and you might be investing more at this time. Like personal security, personal resources will be increasing at this time. That'll be very beneficial for you. Having your ruler, Venus, and your second house of Gemini, just gonna be very, just enjoyable when it comes to like what you own, your possessions. Like you said, like I said, you might be increasing all of this, like just more stuff, more personal resources during this time. It could be very, beneficial. Like you might be connecting with more people into like maybe helping you, receive these possessions and stuff like that. You do have a full moon happening in your 8th house, which is all about other people's money for you, Tauruses. Full moon, completion, fruition, things coming to the, its fullest, basically. So there's going to be like this balance between other people's money and your money and stuff like that, or other people's resources and your resources are going to be, coming to a balance, finally kind of having this balance out and stuff like that. Very exciting. Just money and stuff like that. Resources, stuff, connections, your stuff with other people's stuff. That's kind of like how the month is. Very exciting month for you guys. That's about it for you. Let's go to Geminis. All right, so Geminis. So all this stuff is happening in your 12th house for you Geminis. Yeah, it's probably been a very isolating time, very maybe just not really clear on a lot of things. A lot of things have been maybe shaking up in the backdrop, in the hidden parts of your life, or just subconscious stuff like that, like dreams and fantasies and whatever. This is a crazy month. This is a good month, though. I wouldn't say it's crazy, though. It could be very beneficial, though, because you have Venus and Jupiter here, like in Taurus. What more could you ask for? Maybe doing a lot of things behind the scenes. I don't know. Beneficial stuff. So Pluto is basically stationing in your 9th house in Aquarius. This is in the background, not really the biggest thing, but it's an important transit to really pay attention to. Stuff to do with like philosophies, long distance travel. What is it, like foreign cultures, foreign languages? Excuse me. Like principles, philosophies, truths, stuff like that. Just expanding your world, expanding your horizons, stuff like that. There's been a very like increase in like, oh my god, this is where the power is at. This is where I can enjoy and use this power. Maybe there's power struggles here as well. Deep hidden vibes are coming up to the surface when it comes to 9th house themes for you Geminis. Pluto will end up moving back into your 8th house of Capricorn later this year to do with like other people's resources and intimacy and stuff like that, but that's later this year. Right now, Pluto has been basically opening up this new world to you Geminis. Very exciting. A lot of new things are happening for you. You have this new moon happening in your 12th house, setting new intentions. New moons are about, new beginnings. 12th house is about the subconscious. It's about like hidden enemies, addictions, spirituality, not all bad things. But it is a very hidden house, like spiritual guides, alienation, isolation. There's been a lot of endings happening in this area for you. And as these planets kind of move from Taurus to Gemini into your 12th to 1st house, Geminis, you're going to start to feel lighter. You're going to start to feel like this new beginning is happening for you. Mercury is basically coming into this 12th house for you. So you might be getting a little bit spiritual. You might be, maybe isolating yourself. Maybe not, speaking your mind as much as you usually do. I mean, it is your ruler. The ruler's in your 12th house, so it might be a little bit, I wouldn't say difficult, but just maybe just isolating and like just hidden things you'll just really be focusing on, maybe expressing. It can be very calmer to at least. But like I said, getting into spirituality, into any spiritual like higher source, whatever, following that will kind of guide you through this, because Jupiter has been here and that's basically been guiding you this whole year. But then as Jupiter and the Sun basically move into your first house, things will start to light up a little bit better. This is going to be a new beginning for you, Geminis. Um, let's see, what can I say? I mean, honestly, if you're celebrating a birthday, happy birthday. This is going to be a perfect time for you guys to be celebrating. Especially if you have any planets in Gemini or your first house, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, any other planets. There's going to be a lot of beneficial things having Jupiter as well as Venus entering the sign of Gemini, your first house. So the first house is how you present yourself. It's a new beginning. It's, maybe something to do with your physical body. Having Jupiter there, I've researched, can increase your body in some type of way, increase your appearance, which is just a basic 101 astrology, stuff like that, but that doesn't mean your body's gonna be a little bit more than what it is right now, but it's gonna be a very beneficial time because you're gonna be having more beneficial connections with other people, impressions. People are gonna view you as very hopeful, optimistic. That's a very Jupiter in the first house kind of vibe. So look at it towards that instead of looking at it towards the negative side, because there's always both positive and negatives of everything in life. But yeah, very beneficial thing. You'll have a full moon happening in your 7th house over here in Sagittarius. Things to do with you, the first house, and then things to do with other people. There's going to be some like this balance connection, this fullness, completion, fruition, to do with like traveling, who you're connecting to, just maybe a little bit of excitingness and stuff like that, philosophies, traveling. Like it's your sister sign, So I mean, Sagittarius kind of mirrors you. It really helps you expand who you are, and that's kind of like for the opposite for Sagittarius. Gemini is basically mirroring Sagittarius, and it basically shows another side of what Sagittarius can present itself. But yeah, this is basically you and other people for that time, the lunation and stuff like that. Very exciting time. I mean, I can just go on and be like, this is a great month, and then just be done with it. Honestly, there's a lot of beneficial things happening for all of us, not just, whoever I'm talking about. So, Jupiter is going to be here for a whole year for you. This is going to really increase your optimism, your hopefulness, maybe have a little bit more faith in who you are, how you're presenting yourself, who you're connecting to, stuff like that. Very exciting new beginnings for you Geminis. All right, let's go to the next sign, Cancers. Okay, let's get everything back in your 11th house. Okay, all right, so Cancer risings, or if you're a Cancer sun, whatever you want to call it. So all this stuff is happening in your 11th house. 11th house is about communities, what you're benefiting from your career, friendships and stuff like that, groups, alliances, clients, that's 7th house things. I meant to say colleagues, opportunities, like stuff like that, abundance. There's probably been a lot of abundance happening for you Cancers, especially having Jupiter here in the past year. You had Uranus, you still have Uranus here, and jolting these new ideas and stuff like that, breaking the norms and trying new things out and stuff like that. Very exciting time. So let's go step by step, whatever. Pluto will be stationing retrograde in your 8th house to do with other people's resources, other people's money, intimacy, soul contracts, other deep contracts and stuff like that. Let's see, inheritance, death, rebirth, stuff like that. Not the biggest thing. It is kind of in the background, but it's been kind of opening this new kind of new cycle, new vibe to your Pluto will end up moving back into your 7th house of Capricorn later on this year, finishing this deep connection, this deep uncovering vibe, energy, transit that has been cooking up in your 7th house of Capricorn over the last 15, 16 years. That's going to be completing though, and you're going to be getting more deeper into what's been going on with these connections, with these other people of, since 2008. So this is just another kind of vibe, another starting point, but it's a very deeper within. So deeper cycle, whatever, for you happening. You're going to end up having a new moon in your 11th house, setting new intentions, new moon, new things to do. This could be a very fertile time for you, Cancers, at least, because Earth sign, Taurus, your water sign, Cancer, fertile, fertile, fertile. Earth and water go good together. Okay, so very exciting time. Set those intentions, be fertile when it comes to, communities, friendships, what you're benefiting from your career, what you've earned. You might be increasing your wealth at this time. Having Jupiter here since the last year has been probably increasing your wealth as well. So that's very exciting. And then Mercury will end up entering your 11th house of Taurus by the middle of the month. Mercury's been in this house of Aries, 10th house for you. Been kind of changing plans to do with career and stuff like that, your public image. Now you're going to be entering, Mercury's going to be entering your 11th house. This is going to be probably a really good time, especially when it comes to what you're selling, or if you're in a business and stuff like that, what you're profiting. It's going to be good with doing dealings and businesses with other people, with your community and stuff like that. Who's if you own a business and stuff like that, it's going to be really good to really bring more people in and have good sales or something like that. If you are in retailer sales or stuff like that, that's a very good transit for that stuff. Let's see. So the next big thing happening is all these planets are going into your 12th house. So this could be an isolating time for you guys, but it could be a very beneficial time having all these planets go into the 12th house for you, Cancers. Jupiter will end up being here for the next year for you. So stuff to do with isolation, spirituality, dreams, fantasies, stuff like that. It's just going to be increasing for you, You don't want to lean towards the self-sabotage or fear-based stuff, or hidden enemies and stuff like that, because that also is 12th house things. But yeah, Jupiter's here. It expands whatever it's in, whatever area of life. So just kind of be aware of all that stuff. But this can be a very, a very beneficial time when it comes to ending old cycles. Once the planets start going into your first house next month, you'll start to feel that light again. You'll start to feel more like yourself and stuff like that. But yeah, this is just, maybe you'll be valuing a lot of alone time, maybe valuing a hidden relationship and stuff like that. I don't know. Things could happen in the backdrop. You never know. Doesn't matter what you're doing, so to say. You're going to end up having a full moon in Sagittarius in your 6th house. Full moon completion, fruition, coming to an end or whatever. To do with Sagittarius themes, philosophies, truths, traveling, and stuff like that. But this is in your 6th house. This is physical work. This is your physical health. This is your day-to-day routines that you need to provide in order for you to, live, make a living, basically. Having all these planets in the 12th house, though, in your mental health, your subconscious, hidden desires and stuff like that, there might be a little bit of a uncomfortable blind spot or something that you might have to adjust to, I would say. But not the biggest, not the biggest thing in the world. This month is very beneficial for everything, all of us guys. So, yeah. So yeah. Let's see. But yeah, that's about it. I mean, very beneficial time. Enjoy Jupiter in this part of your chart, Cancers. Just kind of enjoy what you can, basically. It could be a very spiritual time for you, though. Okay, let's go to Leos. All right, so Leo risings. You are probably having one of the best years, or sort of saying, I'd say best months maybe, when it comes to career stuff. You probably have been and will start to benefit from all of this career stuff that you're starting. Maybe you're achieving more, you're doing more in the public, you're just putting yourself out there. Maybe you have an authoritarian role that you have been presented to take on, and it's just been really either increasing your just status, maybe getting a little bit more wealthier and stuff like that. And I believe as these planets move into your 11th house, you will start to see the fruits of your labor of what you've been doing or dealing with over the past either year or just the past month and stuff like that. This is going to be a very, very good time for you guys. So Pluto will be stationing retrograde in your 7th house of Aquarius. So Pluto is opening this new door when it comes to relationships, partnerships, business contracts, just like commitments, stuff like that. Pluto will end up moving back into your 6th house of Capricorn later this year. But this is a very interesting time for you Leos though. Because it's really showing you this deep connection or this deep intimacy, I guess you could say, when it comes to other people, who you're connecting with, how they're benefiting you, how you support others, how they're supporting you, stuff like that. But yeah, this is going to be in the background, so it's not going to be the biggest thing in the world, but just kind of pay attention of what's going on in your 7th house of other people, stuff like that. There will end up being a new moon in your 10th house, setting new intentions when it comes to career matters, public images, your reputation, the actions you take in the world, the role that you're taking out there, what you want to achieve, stuff like that. As this, energy progresses, you will end up seeing basically the fruits of your labor of what you planted during the month of May and stuff like that. As we move on and progress into later this year. Mercury will end up into your 11th house, which is really gonna give you that, I guess, voice, and in the your voice in the public. This is gonna give you I feel that more authoritarian kind of vibe when it comes to just how you're presenting yourself, what you're doing out, what you're obligated to do, your job and stuff like that. You're gonna see, I feel you're gonna be able to voice your public self more often. Mercury has been in the sign of Aries this past month, doing its whole retrograde thing. Went in the area of life of expanding your horizons, stuff like that. But now that Mercury's leaving this part of the chart for you and entering this part, the 10th house, this is gonna be maybe benefiting everything that you have learned over the past month, what you've studied, especially if you're in school or stuff like that. That could be a very beneficial time into heading into the right direction of the career that you've worked for and what will benefit you over time. After that, we will end up having all these planets enter your 11th house, which is basically about, friendships, communities, what you're benefiting, like I said, from your hard work, benefits from your career. You're going to start to maybe see the fruits of your labor and stuff like that. You're going to have Jupiter enter this sign for a whole year, so you are going to be increasing your wealth, increasing these friendships, increasing these connections, or maybe dealings with how you're, I guess, profiting from your community and stuff like that, what you're benefiting from that. That could be a very exciting time. I believe Jupiter does like to be in the 11th house as well, so this is a very extra level of Jupiterian abundance for you. So very, very exciting for you guys. New opportunities, more opportunities are going to be showing up for you over this next year for you Leos. You will end up having a full moon in the 5th house of Sagittarius for you. Full moon, completion, fruition, things coming to an end. There's going to be this balance happening between the 11th house, which is about, communities, friendships, what you're profiting from other people, and what basically the 5th house is about, your self-expressions, creativity, children, good fortune, inspiration, passions, and stuff like that. You're going to have some connection happening that's going to really increase this beneficial energy for you. And it's a fire sign, so it's a very exciting time for you as well, having any fire transits or air sign transits happening for you Leos. Very beneficial time for you. You're going to start valuing a lot of connections, having Venus there. Friendships are going to be a lot easier to connect with. What else can I say? There's a lot of good things happening for you guys. Okay, let's move on to Virgos. Okay, let's get everything back into, okay. All right. So Virgo risings. Let's see. This is going to be also another beneficial time for all of us, just like every other sign that I've just said this to. Virgo risings. If everything is going to be in your ninth house. This is going to be. Excuse me. This is going to be like expanding your horizons, expanding your philosophies, truths, principles, anything like just traveling and stuff like that. Maybe you've been dealing with a lot of beneficial things, having Jupiter here in your ninth house as well as Uranus. A lot of new things happening, out of the blue things. But all these planets coming into your ninth house is really just putting a spotlight on this expansiveness, the higher mind. If you're going to school, learning, this is going to be a great time for this stuff to really like increase your knowledge and your like whatever you're studying and stuff like that. But yeah, a lot of stuff to do with foreign cultures, foreign languages, just anything foreign to you will be very either beneficial, very exciting, very enjoyable. Yeah, I mean, what else could you really say? If yeah, so I mean, so yeah, that's kind of like a good jest intro. Pluto will be stationing retrograde in your sixth house of work, routines, what you need to do to provide work or just provide something for you. It's basically the energy of you, Virgos. This is kind of like the sixth house vibe. Stuff to do with physical health, physical work and stuff like that. This could be dealing with pets, working with animals and stuff like that. Co-workers, medicine, routines, signing leases and stuff like that. Pluto is opening this new part of the chart for you, this new area of your life for you. Pluto will end up moving back into your fifth house of Capricorn later this year, but this is kind of going to be in the background, so not the biggest thing, but pay attention to what's happening in your work. Okay, so Mercury will end up entering your ninth house as well, as I was basically saying. Mercury has been in your eighth house doing this retrograde, doing a back and forth, changing plans to do with like other people's resources and stuff like that. Having Mercury come into the ninth house, this is going to just increase increase the way that you are learning. Mercury is your ruler, so your ruler is going to be in the part of the chart where you're going to like expand your knowledge, your mind, your like learning all this stuff. Like I said, if you're going to school or anything, it's going to be a very good time to like either travel, learn something at this time for you. Very exciting time. As the planets move into your 10th house of Gemini, that's going to be a very exciting time as well. Yes, Gemini squares your first house of Virgo, but if you're not looking at that, probably not the biggest thing, whatever. But this will increase like a lot of things to do with like career stuff. Like you're probably like what you've been benefiting, what you've been learning from over this past month, having all these planets in the ninth house. You'll start to basically head into the right direction of what's good for your career, what's beneficial for your career, what's beneficial for your public image, what you will be basically expanding into when it comes to career authority roles, obligations, professions, your reputation down the world, the actions you take and stuff like that. Jupiter will be here for the next year for you, so yeah, it could be a very, very exciting time for your career. Virgos, maybe starting a new job over this next year, or just putting just the spotlight onto what's coming when it comes to like your career and stuff like that. So, and Venus here is you're going to be valuing a lot of stuff. You're going to be enjoying a lot of stuff. You're going to probably value a lot of respect when it comes to like how you're connecting with other people. You're going to want that respect from other people. And then you're going to have a full moon in your fourth house of Sagittarius. Full moon, completion, fruition, stuff coming to complete, at its fullest. To do with like home matters, family, your property, stuff like that. Like all these things happening in your work, home life connection, this little vibe happening. There's going to be a little bit of balance. Yes, there might be a little bit of tension. It is squaring your first house, but it's probably going to be a very push you to understand what you need and what you need to hold your foundation secure and stuff like that. That's kind of what I'm seeing like that. I think that's about it. But yeah, very beneficial time. Career stuff is going to be expanding and stuff like that for you, Virgo. So yeah, let's go to the next sign, Libras. Okay, hold on. I need to do this. Okay. All right, Libras. Everything is happening. Everything's in your 8th house right now. You know, very, very beneficial time when it comes to other people's resources, other people's finances, you know, transformation, soul contracts, not social contracts. Um, let's see, inheritance, assets, you know, taxes, loans, stuff like that. Maybe you've been you've been getting more benefits from all this stuff. Maybe increasing your finances from using loans, using like debt money or whatever. Maybe paying off some debt that you've been owing for the past maybe year or longer. Let's see. A lot of intimacy has been probably increasing at this time. You're going to be enjoying a lot of times with other people, maybe going on like ventures with a partner, just traveling a little bit, maybe not traveling, but just enjoying this time. Maybe a lot of hidden things, sexual things, kind of have vibing. That's 8th house things, which is okay. If that's deep secrets like occults and stuff like that. So a lot of stuff happening like this deep, like hidden parts of with other people. Like it's the 8th house. It's other people, other people's like money, like maybe just spending time and expanding this deeper psychological connection that you have with other people, and it's probably been very beneficial. Maybe you've been inheriting a lot of like just like intimacy and stuff like that, or finances with other people. But yeah, so Pluto will be stationing retrograde in your 5th house. Not the biggest thing in the world, but Pluto's been opening up this new window of opportunity when it comes to your self-expressions, maybe thinking about children, starting a family, creativity, creative projects, hobbies, and stuff like that, inspiration, passions, your bucket list items that you want to like do. Pluto is just opening this window of opportunity up for you, like that it has been over this past year, and will continue this over the next 20 years. So maybe you end up having children if you end up, because it can be a very fertile time. Anything moving into the 5th house and stuff like that, and it's very deep, subconscious, like just hidden things, but it's coming up to the surface. That's Pluto. Not the biggest thing back. It's in the background and stuff like that. So Pluto will end up moving back into your 4th house of Capricorn later on this year to finish up what it's been doing and stuff like to do with family, homes, stuff like that. But yeah. Okay, so next thing happening, new moon happening in your 8th house, setting new intentions when it comes to intimacy, other people's resources, inheriting other things, shared resources, shared incomes, psychological stuff, sex, refinancing, soul contracts, debts, paying off debts, increasing loans, stuff like that, mortgages. I don't know, a bunch of stuff happening for you. But it's been very probably beneficial, and it will be beneficial at this time. Because then after all that, all these planets will move into your 9th house of Gemini towards the end of the month, and that's going to bring a new cycle for you, a new month for the Sun, a new little time for Venus, and a whole year having Jupiter here for you guys. So you have a lot of things a lot of things are going to be expanding for you during this month, during this year. Your philosophies of like what you think will be expanding at this time. I feel like having Jupiter in the 9th house is like kind of just really increasing more, like just increasing your philosophies, expanding like a bunch of like foreign stuff, maybe you're learning and stuff like that. It could be a great time if you're going to school or if you're planning on going to school, because Jupiter here is about like the higher mind. And it's kind of like about Jupiter and the 9th house kind of have similar vibes to when it comes to like philosophies, higher mind, stuff like that, expansion, traveling, and stuff like that. There's going to be a lot of things happening in this next year for you, and you will like end up getting more benefits from traveling, learning stuff, connecting with foreign people, increasing your like philosophies and stuff like that. Showing like you'll end up having like a lot of benefits from like all these themes and stuff like that over the next year. maybe meeting new people, connecting with foreign people, connecting with somebody new or whatever. Venus here in the ninth house. You might end up, meeting a partner or meeting somebody who's very like valuable or just nice and more like just connectiveness. Venus in the ninth house, you could end up meeting somebody foreign, and ended up basically like dating them or something like that. It's kind of a possibility. Let's see what I could say. Religion, stuff like that, if you're into that, this will just increase for you. Higher education, what I said, basically learning, foreign, traveling, all that stuff. Very exciting time. You'll have a full moon in your third house of Sagittarius over here. So, ninth house, third house, traveling, learning, stuff like that. Fullness, completion, something really nice and beneficial will probably end up happening at that time. You probably will be traveling at that time. That's a good time. Like, that's one of the, I feel like, the places that will end up, or one of the signs, I should say, you will end up traveling a lot at that time. So, but yeah, all this Gemini energy flows good for you, Libras. Air sign, very nice. Yeah, okay, so let's go on to the next sign. Oh, whoops. Okay, Scorpios. What's wrong with it? Okay, everything is happening in your seventh house of relationships, partnerships, business contracts, anything to do with just supporting others, commitments, all this stuff. Maybe because Jupiter has been here for the past year, you've been, valuing these relationships, getting all the like as much benefits as you can get when it comes to like connecting with others, commitments, supporting other people, what they can do for you and stuff like that. You've been changing this side of life, your philosophies when it comes to like other people and stuff like that. Maybe it's been opposing your sign because it is in your opposite sign of your first house, seventh. So maybe there's been challenges. Maybe there's been, but maybe not too many challenges because it's Jupiter. If it was like Saturn or Mars or whatever in your seventh house, yeah, you probably will have a little bit more challenges and stuff like that, but it's just Jupiter. Jupiter is the greater benefic. Jupiter will end up giving you gifts, blessings, and stuff like that when it comes to, probably has over this past year. But yeah, seventh house and stuff like that. So, and then Pluto will station retrograde in your fourth house of Aquarius. So Pluto's opening this window of opportunity when it comes to home-related themes, family, your property, your intuition, domestic life, maternal instincts, and stuff like that. It's really digging deep into all these things, and it will continue to do that over the next 20 years for you. But before that, Pluto will end up finishing its job, doing what it's been doing in your third house of Capricorn later this year, and you can finally say goodbye to all this stuff that you've been dealing with, that Pluto's been uncovering and stuff like that over the past couple of decades, since 2008 and stuff like that. And then Pluto will enter your fourth house again and fully be there, and you can finally be like uncover or just do what Pluto's been doing for you when it comes to like home related stuff. You'll end up having a new moon in your seventh house. New moon, setting new intentions. This is about relationships, connecting with other people, starting new contracts and stuff like that, supporting others, clients, commitments, stuff like that. It could be a very beneficial and fertile time as well, because you are a water sign opposing the earth sign of Taurus. It could be exciting. It could be exciting of what comes out to this over as we progress this energy. Mercury will enter your seventh house later in the middle of the month. Mercury's been in your sixth house doing a little retrograde and stuff like that, changing plans in the way you provide work, what you do for a living and stuff like that. Mercury will end up moving into your seventh house, and maybe you'll be connecting with a lot more people, exchanging a lot more ideas and stuff like that. This seventh house for you, Scorpios, is really going to be focusing on you. Either, it has been for the past month, most of this month, and then, as these planets move into your eighth house, things are going to get a little deeper for you. That's how like the seventh, eighth house kind of vibe goes up. They're both relationship houses. Seventh and eighth house are relationship houses, other people houses. But yeah, from everything happening in your seventh house, being just like one-on-one connections, connecting with other people, doing things, contracts and stuff like that. Moving into the 8th house, things are going to get more serious, so to say. You're going to have Jupiter here for a whole year. So, Jupiter is going to be expanding more, like basically inheritance, taxes, stuff to do with taxes, loans, and stuff like that. Intimacy, very, that's what I'm saying. Like, it'll get a little deeper into these connections that you have already, since maybe what you've been benefiting for the past year when Jupiter was in your 7th house. But yeah, Venus is here evaluating like all this like hidden stuff, sexual stuff, whatever. It's 8th house stuff, hidden stuff, the taboo parts of life and stuff like that. You'll be valuing that, or this will be expanding because Jupiter's here, which can be good or bad. It don't matter. Let's see. So yeah, and then you have a full moon happening in your 2nd house of Sagittarius, something to do with like all these planets are in other people's an 8th house to do with other people's resources, finances, and stuff like that. Having a full moon over here in your 2nd house of your own finances, your ownership, and stuff like that. There's going to be like a little balance out connection, completion of, what's maybe, I don't know, what's going on with your finances and other people's finances, or paying off some type of like debts or whatever. Something to do with like resources and stuff. Let's see, and yeah, that's about it. So, excuse me, a lot of beneficial things will be happening for you when it comes to the 8th house themes of getting a little bit deeper into these connections for you Scorpios. All right, Sagittarius. All right, Sagittarius. So all of this stuff is happening in your 6th house of daily routines, how you provide your work basically. It's a work house. Routines, coworkers, leases, routines, your physical health, injuries, illnesses, something like that, supplements, hygiene, fitness, all this stuff. So this is going to be a very beneficial time when it comes to your health and stuff like that. You've had Jupiter here, your ruler, in this part of the chart for you. So maybe you've seen a lot of benefits when it comes to how you provide your work, what you do for a living, what you do, what you need in order to, basically provide what you need. Like when it comes to like a job, you need money for that. You need to support yourself. You need to, keep your health in check and stuff like that. It's your ruler, And he just basically made a conjunction to Uranus. So maybe there's like new ways of providing work or new ways of like having your health increase and stuff like that. Very exciting. Let's see. So Pluto will be stationing retrograde in your 3rd house. 3rd house to do with communication, short-term traveling, siblings, connections with like people in your immediate environment, social media, writing projects, your car, maybe how you transport and stuff like that, social life rituals, stuff like that. This is in the background and stuff like that. Pluto is just opening this new opportunity when it comes to these types of themes. Pluto will end up moving back into your 2nd house to finish and complete what it's been doing since 2008 for you. Stuff to do with finances, your resources, what supports you, how you can support yourself, stuff like that. A lot of hidden things have been really coming to the surface, but you're finally going to understand and like what's been going on and kind of move on from that. Because once Pluto gets back into the 3rd house, you're probably going to be, understanding this deep, like all these deep things that are going to be coming out when it comes to like communication, connecting with other people, mental connections and stuff like that, transporting, short travel, a lot of stuff. So you'll understand over the next 20 years what Pluto will do for you. Then we'll have a new moon happening in your 6th house of Taurus around the 7th. So this is new moon, new intentions, setting new things. As this energy progresses over time, you'll start to, basically see the fruits of your labor, basically maybe come to light. You'll see all these beneficial things that you've been provided with, or that you've, been expanded and increased. Stuff to do with like work, what you need to do to provide. Your health will probably be a lot better at this time and over time, stuff like that. Let's see, the next thing happening is Mercury basically coming into your 6th house. Mercury's been in your 5th house, doing a retrograde, going back and forth, changing plans and stuff like that. You're finally done with that. Mercury comes into your 6th, and it's going to probably help you to provide a better way to communicate in your work, how you can express, connect with people like coworkers or just people in your work environment. It can be a lot calmer and beneficial and stuff like that. Yeah, so that's a good thing. It can be a good thing. Maybe stuff to do with your health will increase as well. Maybe you'll be learning about a lot more health related matters and stuff like that, or issues or whatever. Could be exciting. Next thing is basically everything going into your seventh house. So yeah, everything's happening in your seventh house. Relationships, commitments, supporting others, like business contracts, partnerships, stuff like that. A lot of things will be increasing at this time. Your ruler will be in this area of life for you, Jupiter in Gemini, which is in your seventh house, which is going to expand these relationships. You might be connecting with more people at this time over the next year. A lot of beneficial things will come for you over this next year for you, Sagittarius, which can be very exciting. Connecting with more people, maybe working with other people, receiving benefits from these either contracts or support or just people wanting to work with you, or just friendships in general, maybe, or even romantic relationships, even marriage. If you're planning on marriage, like a time to get married or something like that, it's a possibility. So let's see what else. That's basically it. I mean, there's a full moon happening in your first house, so first house, seventh house, connections of stuff like that, fullness, completion, stuff like that. So a lot of stuff is happening, just like really expanding your connections in general. Having the full moon basically being your first house, which is very beneficial for you because it's a Sagittarius placement. Yeah, expansion, traveling, maybe traveling at this time, meeting new people at this time while traveling. I don't know. Could be fun. Okay, so let's go to the next one. All right, Capricorns. Oh, whoops. Okay, I'm like clicking this. Okay, Capricorns, everything's happening in your fifth house of Taurus. Very exciting. Probably will be exciting, especially this month. Earth sign, making a trine to your placement of Capricorn. Maybe having Jupiter here has been very increasing, expanding these, these themes to do with your self-expression, creativity, children. Maybe your relationship to children has changed, or you've been very beneficial. It's been very beneficial when it comes to that. Very fertile time. Doing a lot of inspirational things, your passions, bucket list. Maybe you've been doing a lot of stuff that you've wanted to do over this past year, and especially this month. This month will really put a highlight on that area of life for you, Capricorns. Stuff to do with romance, dating, taking apprenticeship programs, or like starting something or whatever. Doing entrepreneurship. Maybe you've been increasing your finances by doing a lot of like little side projects or hobbies and stuff like that to increase your finances or whatever. Let's see. Pleasures. Maybe a lot of luck has been coming for you. But yeah, that's basically the gist of it. Pluto will station retrograde in your second house of finances and stuff like that. Resources, personal items, and ownership. Yeah, Pluto's been opening this new opportunity for you, and it will be here for the next 20 years, but this is just another, like, something that's happened in the backdrop, the background, and stuff like that. Yeah, so, but then Pluto will end up moving back to your first house of Capricorn later this year to finish up anything that's been going on, uncovering things to do with, like, Capricorn themes, government, who you present yourself actually to, not just governments, but this is just like first house, so like who you are, how you present yourself to the world, stuff like that. Then Pluto will end up going back into your second house, focusing on your resources and finances and stuff like that. Then Mercury will end up moving into your fifth house, coming off of this retrograde in your fourth house of Aries this past couple months. We're done with that. You can finally move forward from all this stuff. You can start focusing on like putting your mind to like creativity stuff, creative hobbies, maybe working on stuff. Just maybe getting a little bit romantic, maybe going on dates would be a good time during this time. Passions, love, pregnancy, maybe thinking about all that stuff. You never know. All right, so everything is moving into your sixth house of Gemini. So stuff to do with like work, what you need to provide in order to, make a living and stuff like that. Stuff to do with like your wellness, signing leases. You're going to have Jupiter here for the next year, so maybe you're going to be signing a new lease when it comes to work. like a tenant or something like that, moving somewhere or something, maybe getting connected with somebody that can help you sign a lease for somewhere, something like that. Stuff to do with your health. Your health will probably be a lot better over this next year having Jupiter here. You know, he'll help you, benefit from all these things that will end up coming for this year and what's gonna, come up for you, Capricorns. But your health will probably increase and be a lot better. The way you work will be a lot better. Just working with probably, pets or whatever will increase and will be a lot better for you. If you're trying to heal any injuries, physical injuries, I cannot speak. That'll help. That'll be a lot better for you. You have Venus here. It's going to be a lot enjoyable to maybe connect with coworkers and stuff like that. It's going to be a very beneficial time, guys. I'm telling you. Let's see. So you have this full moon happening in your 12th house over here in Sag. So stuff to do with like 6th house, which is like the physical realm, and the 12th house is like the spiritual realm, stuff like that. Fullness, completion, some balance, some kind of push-pull things, completion or whatever. They're starting to understand a lot of stuff to do with like health and like your mental health with your physical health. It's kind of like balance out in some way. Let's see. That's basically it. I mean, yeah, you're gonna be very beneficial. Like, you're gonna have a lot of things coming up when it comes to like work related stuff, and you're gonna start to see the benefits that come up over this next year. All right, Aquarius. Everything's in your 4th house of Taurus at this time. 4th house, family, home, living situation, foundation. Yeah, it's making a square to your 1st house of Aquarius, maybe creating a little bit of challenges, intensity, maybe like drama and stuff like that has been going on, but it's not the best. I mean, it's a very beneficial time overall, for this whole month. So it's not going to be any, if you have like little, challenges happening, it'll just come and pass, basically. It won't be like all horrible. Because, I mean, if you have had Jupiter here and Uranus here as well, but having Jupiter here, you've probably expanded your way of living, expanded your home. Maybe you've moved to a bigger house. Your living situation is probably like improved, or you've found a lot of beneficial things when it comes to your living situation and stuff like that. Very exciting. And then Jupiter will end up leaving and into your 5th house, and that'll be another thing to to bring benefits when it comes to like love, dating, romance, your creative side, creative hobbies and stuff like that, but we'll get to that. Pluto will station retrograde in your 1st house of Aquarius. Pluto's been basically opening this new opportunity to uncover these things when it comes to who you are, how you present yourself, your personality, your appearance, your impressions to other people and stuff like that. Pluto will end up moving back into your 12th house to complete anything that's been going on since 2008. And then it'll come back to your 1st house later this year, and you'll be dealing with this for the next 20 years, which could really transform who you are, Aquarius is. Like, if you have any Aquarius placements, your ascendant's there, your sun's there, your moon's there, any placements, this is going to really change the way you present yourself, Aquarius. Is very deep things will be coming up to the surface. Pluto will be uncovering these things, either good or bad. But once Pluto's done, you're going to be a whole different person, I guarantee. You'll have a new moon happening in your 4th house of Taurus around the 7th. This is going to be, having you set new intentions around home matters, family matters, your living situation, your property, what you want to do, like your intuition, your domestic life. A lot of new things, and it'll start to progress over the time being after this new moon. After this new moon and stuff like that. But yeah, it'll be a very beneficial time. You'll start to see the fruits of your labor. Eventually, what's been planted around this time when it comes to your living situation or how you want to live. You'll have Mercury coming into your 4th house of Taurus by the 15th. So Mercury's been doing this back and forth retrograde thing in Aries in your 3rd house. A lot of communication was probably wonky, a little not make sense, delays and stuff like that happen. Now that's all done. Now you can focus on your maternal instincts and how you express yourself and stuff like that. It's going to be maybe a bit calmer, maybe something to do. Yeah, I mean, it's your maternal instincts. And having Mercury, the planet of the mind and stuff like that, into your fourth house, maybe you'll be a little bit more hidden in how you express yourself, or just really caring for other people. Maybe you'll be, expressing your love for your family, or just showing how much you care in a way that's like very beneficial, very calming and soothing, and just supporting. When it comes to like your family and or other people who live with you. Let's see. You'll have basically everything going into your fifth house. Like I said, Jupiter will be here for the next year, expanding this, fifth house area for you, which can be very beneficial for you because it's in an air sign. You're an air sign. Aquarius is very, very beneficial. But yeah, your philosophies will change. Your this could be a good time to just really expand on any hobbies that you want to work on, any entrepreneurship that will help your finances increase. If you're just expressing yourself, your self expressions will be a lot better. Your bucket list items that you want to do in life, this will be a great time. You'll be probably doing a lot of stuff in the next year while Jupiter is here, and you'll be benefited. You'll gain the benefits from what Jupiter will provide while it's here for the next year for you. But yeah, it's going to be a very, very exciting time, very exciting year for you. I believe, this is an air sign, so it's going to be trining your first house, so a lot of good things overall for you. I'm excited to see that for you, Aquariuses. So, inspirations, dating, all that stuff, romantic stuff, apprenticeships, stuff like that. What's pleasure? You have Venus here. I mean, you're going to be enjoying pleasures and stuff like that as it is. So, yeah, it can be a very exciting time. You'll have a full moon happening in your 11th house, which is the last thing really happening as these planets are moving into the 5th house for you. So this 5th house of, creativity, your hobbies and stuff like that, self-expressions, and then the 11th house of, communities, friendships, benefits from your career, just, groups of people and stuff like that. It's going to be increasing, basically, expanding. It's Sagittarius. The ruler's over here in your 5th house, and it's just going to be increasing these connections, these benefits, these opportunities. You're going to see a lot more at this time. All right, so let's go to the last sign, which is Pisces. All right, so everything's in your 3rd house, Pisces. So 3rd house, communication, short-term travels, relatives, siblings, transportation, stuff to do with your car and stuff like that. Writing projects. All this is very highlighted for this month for you, Pisces. But let's go to Pluto for a second. Pluto will station retrograde in your 12th house of Aquarius on the 2nd of May. So, yes, Pluto has been entering this 12th house area for you. Very, opening this new window of opportunity when it comes to, deep, hidden fantasy, subconscious, desires and, hidden desires, dreams, and spirituality and stuff like that. Very, different kind of vibe has been opening up for you, Pisces. And having Pluto here for the next 20 years, oh my God, I just want to know I want to see how this will end up playing out for you, Pisces. It's going to be a very, transformational time when it comes to, subconscious stuff, your dreams, foreign travels, which is, foreign countries, not really, 9th house foreign travels, but, foreign cultures and just, traveling, to places that are just so far and hidden from your home life and stuff like that. Just different places, foreign places, traveling to another side of the world or something like that. Just living there and or something like that. I don't know. That's kind of like a 12th house thing. 12th house is also isolation, concealing. Let's see, hidden enemies as well. So there's other themes that have been coming up at this time, which can be very good or negative. It doesn't matter. It's just what Pluto's trying to do. It's trying to uncover these hidden things and bring these to the surface. Really look at this in a deeper way for you, Pisces. But yeah, Pluto will end up moving back into your 11th house and finish up anything that's been going on since 2008 for you when it comes to friendships, communities, benefits from your career, opportunities, abundance, stuff like that, networking, and all that stuff. and then Pluto will end up moving back into this 12th house and staying there for the next 20 years, really transforming this area of life for you, Pisces. All right, so next thing happening is you'll be having a new moon in your 3rd house. So new moons, setting new intentions, starting new cycles, something to do with, the way you communicate, social media, like-minded interests and stuff like that, mental connections, the way you transport, like travel, like short-term, like around your media environment, like your stuff like that. So anything, you'll start to see any like benefits or the fruits of your labor as this energy progresses. This is a earth sign and you're a water sign, Pisces, so this can be a very fertile time for you as well. If you're doing any like writing projects and stuff like that, I mean, you've had Jupiter here for the last year, so you've probably seen a lot of things, a lot of beneficial things when it comes to like the way you were expressing your just communication in general. Maybe you've been learning a lot more stuff like basic skills, basic information, just like stuff around your neighborhood and stuff like that has been very beneficial for you, Pisces. Let's see what else. Short-term travels and stuff like that, all this stuff. So Mercury is basically entering this area of life for you. So your communication will probably be on an extra, like give you an extra boost or whatever. Because you have the planet Mercury, it's the planet of the mind, the planet of communication, stuff like that. So, and it's entering the house of communication and interest and stuff like that. Short-term travel. You might be traveling around your neighborhood around this time, especially when Mercury enters there. Maybe you have been traveling a lot, but this is just going to bring a lot more like traveling, short-term traveling, maybe spending time with siblings, relatives. I don't know, learning new things as well. Yeah. So, and then basically everything is moving into your 4th house by the end of the month. And you're going to have Jupiter here entering your 4th house for a whole year, which is just going to, create this new cycle when it comes to like your living situation. You might be expanding into a new place to live at, expanding your home, expanding like maybe bringing in more people to live with. Yeah, it's going to be like increasing something to do with your living situation in some way, and you'll see this as it progresses over the next year. Yeah, so that's going to be very exciting for you guys, especially if you are planning on moving to like a bigger house or just somewhere new. Stuff to do with like, your roots, like really like building a good solid foundation for you to live at. Yeah, a lot of stuff to do with like your maternal instincts, your domestic life, your intuition. There's gonna be all these beneficial things having Jupiter here as well. You'll learn a lot of stuff, like your philosophies to do with like home and foundation and family and stuff like that will increase. Maybe you'll be increasing your family. Maybe like either a relative or you end up having a child and just like basically expanding your family. That's another possibility. I don't know, stuff to do with like your parents, stuff like that. All these things or whatever. Just like self-care, you'll probably find better ways or beneficial ways when it comes to like taking care of yourself, how you live, or maybe taking care of other people who live with you, or taking care of your parents in some way, anything. So yeah, and then you'll have Venus here, basically just bringing more renovations and stuff like that. That's another thing I would say for Jupiter in the 4th house is renovating your home. That could give you that expansiveness when it comes to like, building a bigger house, or you could build a house honestly if you want to. But yeah, a lot of renovation is going to be happening for you in your home life and stuff like that, Pisces. You'll have a full moon in Sagittarius in your 10th house. Full moon, completion, things coming to its fullest. The energy is going to be a lot higher at this point. But this is going to be a work-home life kind of balance. So yeah, it's squaring your 1st house of Pisces, but yeah, it could be a lot of things happening, like expanding when it comes to like your career, your public image, your reputation, the actions you're taking out in the world. Something to do with your home life and your public life will be coming to like a balance in some way or whatever. So I believe that is all I can say about that. So if you are still here, thank you so much for giving me your time to spend through all this. Or if you just kind of just wanted to just look at the timestamps and look at how this month will happen, how this month will unfold for your sign, that was also an opportunity, a beneficial thing that I will provide for you guys. But yeah, this is probably going to be one of the best months of the whole year because the rest of the year it's going to be kind of challenging. There's a lot of challenges towards the end of the year, like the summer. Yeah, June's pretty nice. July, maybe for the most part, and then we end up getting into another Mercury retrograde at that point. But a lot of other things will be starting to, go in retrograde, like the outer planets will start to go in retrograde. Saturn, Neptune, and then eventually Mars later on this year will end up getting into a retrograde. So just spend this time like as much as you can, because we will end up being benefited by all of this, like all of this just good vibes and stuff like that. It's going to be a very interesting month. It's going to be an exciting month for everybody. So let's just enjoy this. Thank you. Please like the video. Please share. Please do anything to expand this. Show people. Show new people. Talk about it with your friends or just other people. I want more people to see this stuff. I'm excited. I'm very passionate about doing this. This is why I do this stuff. So I just want to give you a good. I want to express my gratitude by having this opportunity to do this. So thank you guys. If you are at least a supporting person, or if you want to join my Patreon to get this exclusive, you can do that as well. I will end up, posting this on YouTube eventually, but taking little steps at a time. So that is about it. I really hope you guys enjoyed this month. Yeah, so we'll see you in the next video. And if you want to check out the merch, I'll put the link in the description below because a lot more stuff will be coming. So yeah. Alright guys, thank you for this and we'll see you in the next video.